You know the pictures. We've all seen them. Those perfect, sun-drenched photos of brunch that look, honestly, almost too good to be real. But what happens when the reality just doesn't live up to the hype? Well, today, we're peeling back the filter on the Great Brunch Deception. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this feels familiar, right? You see a place blow up online, you brave that insane weekend line, and you finally sit down to a meal that's, well, it's fine, but it's not the life-changing experience you were promised. Yep, you've just been caught in a growing trend. Okay, let's get into it. We're calling this the influencer brunch. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a meal that's basically been engineered not for your taste buds, but for your phone's camera. The whole experience, from the flower walls to the neon signs, is all about aesthetics. And that creates this huge gap between what you see online and what actually ends up on your plate. So, how do you spot one of these places before you've wasted your precious Saturday morning? Let's dissect the anatomy of a classic hype trap. We're going to look at a couple of, let's say, infamous examples. Our first case study is a place so famous its name is basically shorthand for New York brunch. Seriously, if you've ever scrolled through recommendations for the city, you have seen this place. It is a masterclass in marketing. So the influencer story paints this picture of a charming, quirky, absolute must-visit spot. But what happens when you talk to actual New Yorkers? They'll tell you it's the definition of a tourist trap. The reality is you're crammed into tiny tables, it's deafeningly loud, and the service is all about flipping that table for the next person in line. And the food? Oh, the food. This quote from a viral review about their granola, it just says everything. Aggressively average. Ouch. I mean, when your signature dish is being compared to the crumbs you find at the bottom of a backpack, you know you've got a problem. And look, this is not just a New York thing. This formula is global. Let's head across the pond to London, to a cafe that took this whole Instagrammable idea and just cranked it up to 11. Online, Fayette Cafe is this pastel wonderland, an absolute dream. But in the real world, it's basically a photo studio that happens to serve some food. And the biggest complaint from diners is so telling. The food often arrives cold. And it makes sense, right? It's a direct result of prioritizing the photo op. The staff spends so much time perfectly arranging every last edible flower that by the time it gets to you, it's lukewarm at best. Okay, I know, it all sounds pretty bleak, doesn't it? But don't worry, there is an antidote to the hype trap. There's a secret that food critics and in-the-know locals all share, and honestly, it's delightfully simple. The secret is to just embrace the ugly delicious. Yeah, you heard me. Forget the perfect plating, forget the flower walls. The best food, the really good stuff, often isn't trying to be pretty. It's just trying to be incredible. Take Terry's Cafe in London, for instance. I mean, you can tell just by looking at it, right? You're not going to find any neon signs or pastel pink decor here. This is a classic, family-run British cafe, a true local institution, and it is famous for all the right reasons. So let's break down why a place like this just wins. First off, it's family-run, so it has a genuine, classic vibe. They get their top-tier meat from the famous Smithfield Market. And look at this. It's praised by huge food critics like Jay Rayner. Here's the most important part. You are paying for incredible ingredients, not for the interior designer's fee. All right, let's hop back to New York, to this neighborhood spot in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Chez Ma Tante is the polar opposite of those hype traps we were just talking about. It's minimalist, it's unassuming, and it is obsessively focused on one thing and one thing only, the actual craft of cooking. And this quote right here, this brilliantly illustrates that whole ugly, delicious idea. Critics rave that they serve the actual best pancakes in the city. And what do they look like? Well, they're nearly burnt. They have these amazing, crispy, caramelized edges. See, they're not designed for a photo. They're designed for pure, unadulterated, delicious flavor. Okay, so you get the difference now, right? You can see a hype trap versus a hidden gem. But how do you spot the fakes out in the wild before you've already committed your morning to them? Let's build a little practical toolkit you can actually use. Here it is, your 3-step hype detector. Number 1, watch out for stunt garnishes. You know, things like a cloud of cotton candy on your drink or a syringe full of syrup. It's a gimmick. 2, be really suspicious of long lines at places that don't take reservations. A lot of the time, it's just a marketing tactic to create fake buzz. And 3, if the restaurant's logo is literally burned into your waffle, you're paying for their branding, not for a good brunch. This table really just sums it all up perfectly. The influencer trap's primary focus? Aesthetics and decor. The critics' pick? Flavor and ingredients.
The Trap has these long, often fake wait times, while the Gem has organic demand. The menu items, unicorn lattes versus a solid full English breakfast. It all comes down to value. At the Trap, it's low. You're paying for the brand. At the Critics' Pick, it's high. You're paying for the food. The difference couldn't be more clear.
So what's the bottom line here? What does this all mean for your next weekend meal? Let's get right to the final takeaway. Ultimately, it really just boils down to this one simple choice. Are you looking for an experience that's been designed from the ground up to be captured by your phone's screen, or one that's been designed to be truly, deeply savored by your palate? One is fleeting, it's superficial. The other, that's memorable and authentic. So the next time you're scrolling, looking for that perfect spot for brunch, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Are you choosing for the feed, or are you choosing for the food? The answer might just lead you to the best meal you've had in a very, very long time.